Well, guys, welcome back to Night School. I'm Jessie Zand.
I'm Alana Cloud Robinson.
I'm Isabella Hunter.
I texted your mom actually yesterday,
Really?
Alana, yeah, because I've been having a cold sore come up and it like will not go away. And I was like, I'm out of
A
options.
cold sore?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah, like here on the corner of my lip.
Oh, see, I get them on my lips.
Yeah, I got it out. Both my parents have them, so like there was no shot of me avoiding
Everyone
getting
has
that.
cold sores.
I
I haven't
know.
met a single person who doesn't get cold sores in my life.
I only started getting them 2 years ago, which was really a bummer.
But yeah, I texted your mom and I was like, it's not going away. And she was so sweet. She messaged me back and she sent me a voice memo and she was like, in Ayurvedic medicine, like your mouth. Fuck, I'm gonna butcher this. She was like, your skin is like your other mouth, your other mouth. And so she was like, there's something that you need to like get out that you haven't been. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to like dig deep. But then like, what else do I need? I have a date tomorrow. Like, what else do I need to do to get this off?
Amazing. I will speak, but what do I do?
And she gave me some. She was like lysine, red light. I put some red light.
Oh, the
there.
red light is amazing.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
I have one of
use.
those masks, so I did that, and it was super helpful.
Yeah.
But she was so sweet. I was like, I love you, Gina.
Yeah.
She was like, anytime. I was like, Mama Cloud, bless.
Yeah. We should set up for her, maybe without even her knowledge, we should set up like something where people can pay to like contact her and get advice. Like we get her a Google number.
genius.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's genius.
And get medical advice from my mom who's not qualified, but is just like
No, but I trust her.
I trust her with my life.
she's just close to source.
She's so close to source.
That's all you need,
She's
really.
tapped into source.
Yeah.
You don't need
What
med school.
university did she study at? The University of Source.
Source.
The university of it came to me in a dream. And that's good enough for me. It's kept me alive.
Riffin. Wait, are we recording?
Yeah.
Fuck. Happy Veterans Day, guys. Even though this is going to come out,
In 2 weeks.
I don't know, sometime. Funny Girl Vintage. Incredible clothes. Incredible clothes. You wear the shit out of them. I wear my
Timeless
Funny Girl
classics.
Vintage. Timeless classics. I have things to do. I have people to meet in this city. And I'm going to do it
Outfits to slay.
wearing Funny Girl Vintage. That's what I'm going to do. And guess what? If you use the code NIGHT, weird word, but if you use that word and type it into the little box when it's like, check out, you find something cute on Funny Girl Vintage, you check out.
Use the code NIGHT for 10% off at checkout, and we thank Funny Girl Vintage for supporting this podcast.
It's my best friend's birthday.
Actually, speaking of vibing, let's talk about your novel, Strangers.
Hardly Strangers, my first novel.
Such a good title, honestly.
Such a good
Such
title.
a good title.
Yeah, it was a very, very intense process. I totally underestimated it. Like when I signed everything and I was like, all right, let's get to work. And I had like 3 or 4 months to do it. And it was totally nutty. I'm really grateful though, because it taught me how to write a book.
Yeah.
But it was really funny because I did a podcast recently with my publishers who have a podcast. And they were like, you were so chill the whole time. Like you were so relaxed. And I was like, who are you talking about? But I'm really good at kind of like presenting that
Totally.
vibe.
Cool,
of
calm, and
being
collected.
Cool, calm, and collected.
You are.
There is just a primal scream quietly being scrumped
There's like
the
stuffing
entire
in the
time.
mouth.
Yeah, at all times within me. But I try my best to present a chill demeanor.
I also think, too, what was really impressive, watching you on the tail end of it was you had to wake up every day and self-motivate. And and as a writer, that's really hard because you're it's one thing to be up against a deadline because that's kind of helpful, but when it's a longer extended deadline, talk about what that was like as a writer.
There were times I remember sitting down at I think 10,000 words, which is the most words I'd ever written, in for one thing ever. And I just remember sitting there and I was like, holy shit, I have 30,000 more to go.
Oh, fuck.
And it was like so grueling getting to those 10,000. You're supposed to just get it out and then go back to editing. And editing is a whole other thing in itself. I can't help it. Something about my perfectionism, ADD, whatever the fuck it is, I edit as I go to a fault.
Same.
And I wish, and I'm trying to learn how to stop doing that because
Just
I ended up
spill it out.
Yeah.
I ended up
So hard.
after turning in the first draft, after the first round of edits, I had to rewrite the whole beginning. And it's like, it's not worth it
Yeah.
to go to nitpick like that. Like get the story out
Yeah.
and then reread it and understand how you get from point A to point B, and then you'll see the flaws, and you'll see what needs to happen. But if you try to do it along the way, I'm struggling with that right now with this new book that I'm trying to write. It's like I can't help it. I'm like, okay, move on to chapter 4, and then I find myself back on chapter 1 being like, okay, but it's like, stop it, just get to the end. Just get to the end. It's very difficult.
I very much relate to that, but it's also like it's a puzzle, and you can. The problem is like as you're writing, you can see that the puzzle pieces aren't right necessarily, but they like kind of fit.
Yeah.
And you're like staring at the little holes between the puzzle pieces as you go, and it's like taking everything to go back.
It's hard.
so hard not to edit as you go.
No, it's really hard. And it's all, another thing too is like I've always been really free form about everything, but to anyone who writes, I'm now a huge advocate for outlining to like a crazy degree. Like this new book I'm writing, I have a Google Sheets doc that has like the basic storyboard, and then it has like character list with like descriptions of all the characters. Now I'm doing chapter breakdowns by word count because I'm trying to get really granular with it.
That's great.
And because
it's so helpful,
it
honestly.
is. So now it's like I have a rough idea and something will come to me and now I have a place to plug it in. Like if I don't know where this detail goes, because that's the hard thing too, is when you're writing something in longer form, is figuring out where these details go. A line will come to you or a thought and you'll be like, where, and you can't just you can keep like a running notepad, but after a while, that turns into like total garbage. And you're like, you lose your mind. So it's helpful to outline. I never believed in that.
That's so interesting.
I've always hated anybody that told me like storyboard. Like I was like, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. And now I'm like, oh, you really do need to do that. It helps tremendously. I had no idea before, because that was the other thing too, is like I was learning as I went along. Like these publishers were like, can you give us an outline in 2 weeks? And I was like, I'm literally like Googling, like, how do you do outline? Like, what is an outline?
What is outline?
It's so
like,
funny so funny because we were talking about the fake it till you make it thing a few episodes ago. It sounds like that's exactly what you did, though.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's like a expedited process. You're like faking it for 5 seconds until you can teach yourself. Like an autodidact, I think that's what you call it when you teach yourself things.
Yeah, exactly. And that was that's the thing I'm the most grateful about throughout this entire process, whatever comes of it, is it taught me how to write a book. It taught me how to listen. It's funny, we were talking about astrology last time, but it's like they say there's like every sign has like a saying, and Aquarius is I know. So that's my biggest problem, is like not in a way where like I think I'm the smartest person in the world or I'm arrogant, but it's like when I'm, especially with tasks or like information, it's very easy for me to dismiss things and like, I'll figure it out. Yeah. Building a piece of IKEA furniture and be like, no, I'll figure it out. Like and if you just take that moment to read the instructions, to listen to those that came before you and get that information, it just makes things so much easier. And it's also like, it was a very interesting process for me as someone who does not like to collaborate, because you have to collaborate.
You do.
You have to collaborate with editors. You have to collaborate with publishers. You have to collaborate with all these people. I was very grateful. I had amazing editors who were so kind and really, I think, got me and were able to provide suggestions in a way that didn't set off my defensiveness because I'm sensitive. And, there was a few moments where I read something and I was like, no, it has to be this way. And then I would take a second pass and I'd be like, okay, calm down. That's not vital. You can cut that. And that was also a learning experience. So it's taught me a lot about how to play with others.
Totally.
And
it's
I'm glad
funny,
for that.
This experience that you described, I know, we've talked about you not going to college before, but this is what college was like. Like you kind of put yourself through college. you put yourself through your own.
You hear that, Dad? I finally made it to college.
Yeah, and honestly,
night school university,
but romance novel university. But all of the things that you just described, I was like, oh yeah, that's what I did. That's where I got that experience. But like, I got a piece of paper and a degree in film. And I was talking to somebody who was like super into film, and I was like, yeah, I haven't seen that film. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we watched that in film class, and I was high and I fell asleep. Like it was useless. Like it was totally fucking useless. But you got the skills that I got out of college, kind of, accidentally, if you will, like through this very intentional experience. And I think that's so much more valuable than any piece of paper or diploma that you could have gotten, because this is you. This is all out of your brain, and you created it yourself. You didn't go through, menial bullshit gen ed courses in college to get those really hard skills that you learn by doing this on your own. And I think that's the more impressive feat to me than any college degree.
No, learning on your own is so hard because I didn't go to college. I didn't even start college till I was 23, and I'm still like just halfway there at 29. But
everybody on their own time.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
I think college is actually more valuable, or if you want that, if you don't, I don't feel like I have that motivation naturally necessarily. So I truly need someone to like I said, like I didn't even write an outline in a class. Like no one was going to, and I had years to learn how to make an outline and I had all the resources. But I think because I'm at that age where I really want to learn, it's like I literally like go to night school practically.
Yeah.
Like
LOL. In 2 ways.
Yeah. In 2 ways.
Many ways.
Yeah. Branding.
But I think, yeah, for those who, I do think college is just like too early. I don't know if that sounds crazy, but I feel like for what people are learning, like the other kids in my class, for some people, it's totally dependent. Yeah. Some people don't need college at all. And
like,
I completely
for
agree
me,
with that.
I feel like if I had gone to college now, I wouldn't have stuck with it. I needed it when I needed it then because I was so against doing anything creative that I knew that this college route or whatever would give me just the stupid piece of paper and the checkbox to get me through the doors I felt like I needed to get through in order to get this sense of financial security that I so desperately felt like I needed when I got out of college. And you never have it regardless. It was just Simone internalized bullshit. But if I had started college now and tried to do it, I wouldn't have stuck with it because I would have been I've been so fulfilled by these other things that I'm doing that I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
We're all like such a different experience with that.
Yeah, I totally get that. And see, for me, it was the opposite. Like fresh out of high school, I was so done that I would have been so defiant and like I'm only just becoming like soft enough and like malleable enough to take in the information and wisdom of others because I think for a long time, I think I needed that time to like establish my voice and like become strong in myself and my opinions.
Totally.
But I don't think I would have been ready. Like it's totally opposite.
Yeah.
I think if I had gone into college at the time, I wouldn't have stuck with it for the reason that I was like, I know better. I'm 18.
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel now.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Now that I'm out of it on the other side, I'm like, I went through this. Like, it was, and let me just preface it. I loved UC Santa Cruz. Like, I'm trying to write a bit about it, but like, I chose that school because it had the lowest percentage of Greek life involvement out of any of the schools that I had gotten into. And I was so militant on not going to like your traditional college that I chose Santa Cruz because I was like, this shit's in the forest. Like, let me find my
That
freaks.
was the school, we've talked about this, but that was the school I wanted to go to if I went to college. It was the only one that I was
freaky
interested in,
deaky
other than Harvard.
It was freaky deaky and weird, and I loved it, and it opened my perspective up to so many different things, but it wasn't necessary. I will say the one course, my freshman year English class, was probably was one of the most profound classes I took. That and then a creative writing course. Like my writing courses there really helped strengthen me as a writer, and I'm really grateful for those. But it's funny. I think we were all on our own path towards education, and I feel like this
our own ways.
In our own ways. And I feel like you should be so proud of this because this book was almost your own education. And how cool is it that you came out on the other side, not with a diploma, but a piece of art that will live on beyond you.
Beautiful. I couldn't have said it better myself. I put all the words into this. I have none.
Everybody wants a rock star, man.
It's true.
Like, it's true. Every girl, especially growing up in LA, you just like, everyone wants to be a rock star, girlfriend, wife, like secretly. Even if you don't, you have this fantasy.
And everyone has a little brush with that,
It's true.
I guess, yeah. I don't know.
Not you?
The rock, like the front man, like the drummer, but like not the front man. The front man, I'm like, what are you getting up there and singing? You queef.
I love a singer.
You fucking little fainting queef. Like what? No, it's too. You're gonna get up there and dance. Like I can't do it. Like I think the drumming is like more masculine because they're like jacked and
I
shit.
can see that for you. You do love like a.
I feel like you go with the lead singer. I go with the guitarist.
Yeah. And I need
And
the
you
drummer.
need the drummer.
Yeah.
Whole band is covered.
Whole band is
Or
covered.
I go with the shithead agent manager.
I was gonna say the manager.
the manager.
The cokehead manager.
Yeah, the
cokehead
cokehead manager
manager
is actually completely my vibe.
Yeah.
I still get to go and like hang out with the band.
I know, yeah.
But I become like sisterly.
Yeah.
Like I'm like,
Yeah.
or like a mom.
And
I'm
he
like,
keeps
how are all
leaving
the
the
boys
room.
doing?
He keeps leaving the room.
Yeah.
He's like, let me take
and
this
we get in
phone call.
screaming fights in front of the band.
Do you want? Yeah.
And you take care of the groupies.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you're
yeah.
like you like therapize them.
Literally.
Yeah, you have like a cigarette. You're like,
This is
honey,
my
it's
alternate
just
reality.
gonna get worse.
Yeah.
just know it gets worse before it gets
Exactly.
better.
Exactly. And then and then he and I get married, and then we break up, and I start my own like management company, and I'm like terrible. I don't know how to do anything. I have like one band. I like run them into the ground. Their lives are over.
But they become a cult hit
Yeah.
like 30 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I go sell turquoise in Arizona or something.
Dreamy.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. We're kicking this
By
off
the
with a
way,
question.
sorry to interrupt, but that
Yeah.
just took I know of a turquoise mine in Arizona that we can go mine turquoise at. So
Gina keeps texting me. She knows
Japan.
what's.
does she want to call in right now and give us any?
She's gonna be like, "How's the cold sore?"
No, we have to schedule that because I have to give
sure.
her a list of yes and no nos.
You know what's crazy? She told me she and I are both Virgo Sun, Pisces rising.
What?
And our Venus is both in Leo.
Wow. You guys are very similar. Even in your physicality, like the hair and like dark eyes.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Extremely slay eyebrows.
I couldn't have asked for a better mentor, guru, guider.
Yeah.
I wanted to kick it off with a question. Dream blunt rotation.
You're all looking at me because I smoke so much weed.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, tell me.
It's like, do you think I've ever formed a full thought with that much weed in my system? I have to say Snoop Dogg just because I'm from LA and like he smokes so much weed.
Great
and
one.
also I've met him.
Great one.
So like I feel like we're friends.
Great
even though
one.
He would never remember me. Miley Cyrus in the era where she was smoking
Bangers?
salvia. Yeah. Or that. Yeah.
Pre-banger. Yeah. Yeah. Miley
Bangers
Cyrus, Snoop
era.
Dogg. Love that.
Miley and Snoop and Dead or Alive or just like alive. Should be
can be
it's just
any.
too many
Anyone.
people. I'm Emily Dickinson. Throw her in there.
So we've got Snoop Dogg, Miley Cyrus, and Emily Dickinson.
I feel like that's kind of basic, even.
I don't think that's basic at all. I think that's borderline psychotic.
Should I add some more?
Noodle on it, Alana.
The only one I've secured so far is Gabby Windey from The Bachelorette.
Oh, amazing.
Wait, the girl is a podcast too?
Robbie
one who's
Hoffman's
like,
girlfriend.
yes.
Just in my nails. They're
I love I'm
her.
obsessed.
I'm
I love her
obsessed with her.
voice.
Yeah.
I'm
Robbie Hoffman's
obsessed
girlfriend.
with her. I'm obsessed with both
Keida,
of
connect
them.
us to
Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
please.
Please have
Huge
her on.
Robbie fans.
She's the secured spot.
Yeah.
Like I think we could just pass it back and forth, to be honest.
Yeah, you're good
I don't
with
need
just
anybody
her.
else. Like anybody else is gonna freak me out. I
would
feel
love
like
to
anything I said or did, she would just be like, I love that for you.
Yeah, Gabby Windey
Yeah.
would be great.
Oh my god,
Furniture
that'd
you
be
need.
dream come true.
Okay, JoJo Siwa.
oh.
Absolutely.
Are you jealous? Do you kind of wish you?
Yeah, but also she'll send me into like marijuana and do psychosis.
Wait,
kinda
please
why.
do your impression.
My impression of her.
Yeah.
Didn't you do an impression of JoJo?
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was.
It's like, hey, like,
Yeah.
I can't do it right now. You know why?
Okay.
Because it's very dynamic. It's very physically
it's true.
dynamic.
You
Yeah,
have
yeah,
to be
yeah.
like,
She's very
get into
physically
character.
dynamic. Yeah.
JoJo Siwa, absolutely, because I just want to see what the fuck is gonna happen.
Yeah.
When I get my dream blunt rotation is just to get high and like get characters around me just to entertain me.
I feel like it'll make you feel like you're smoking weed for the first time at 13. 'Cause
Yeah.
she's gonna be like, I'm like honestly like seeing like planets and like fucking like I just like wait, do you guys see that? And you're gonna be like, you don't hallucinate. And she'll be like, honestly, like maybe. Like she'll like go that way. And you'll be
that
like
was the impression
Yeah,
that I
that was the
wanted.
impression.
Usually it's better because it's like you have to move your body
Yeah,
around.
she does
She's
have
very
like a certain
physical.
like.
Yeah, she's very physical. She's like a physical
the-
comedy girl.
The
Dream guest.
the
Dream
other
guest.
one, the other one would be I don't know if this is a dream or a nightmare, but like Azealia Banks.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Dream. She could
Sorry.
talk for hours.
Yeah, actually, Gabby Windey and Azealia Banks.
Wait, can we have them both on the pod? I feel like we could do that.
Gabby and I just are so stoned, just sitting there. And Azealia Banks is just giving us the Hollywood demonic tea.
Yeah.
And we're just
Yeah.
sitting there passing it back and forth. And we're just both being like, whoa. And Gabby's like, that's crazy. And we're just passing it. And
Azalea's
the
going
whole
into a
time.
diatribe.
Yeah.
She's feeding, it's crazy. She's calling everyone like a little like elf-shoed little bitch-ass frog creature or whatever the fuck.
Elon
just
Musk
reading
is
everyone.
a ketamine addict.
Yeah, and we're just both
True.
like, whoa, that's crazy. Tell us more.
And then I think also so we could broker the peace, Grimes.
Well, that's like mediation.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have to say, there is no Grimes is probably nightmare blend rotation for me.
Yeah.
Because
That's kind of like
she
mine always
would-
balances the two because I'm
Yeah.
like for me it's like I want to get high and just be entertained, but like you also
You're an agent of chaos.
I'm an agent of chaos. Yeah.
No, but
so it's
she's
like,
one of
it's
those
always
people
on the
who's going to
edge.
start talking and then you're going to get locked in the box syndrome and you're going to be looking at her and you're going to start fixating on like her lisp. No shade, I have a lisp. You're going to start fixating on her lisp and you're just going to be like,
Yeah, that's true. She probably would fall into the nightmare blend rotation.
No, her
Yeah.
face would turn into like shapes.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
like, whoa.
Yeah.
She's transforming.
and and at one point you just like stand up and like shout at her and you're like, what are you even saying? What are you saying?
That's
Like you
true,
start
that's true.
screaming and then
She
you like
probably
freak
would
out.
be saying some shit like, the geometry of the sky is written in our skin, and
But
like
in
just,
that, but
In
not
that,
in
like,
that
voice.
way. But the thing is, the thing about her is like, that's like a hippie chick. She talks in that about those things, but in like that manic kind of like, she'll be like, okay, so like it's like geometry in the stars, and like if you think about it, it's like really interesting because like it's super quick, and I think that would make you go insane.
yeah, you're right. Her
She
voice-
moves
and the
too
lisp,
fast.
Yeah,
She
the
moves
lisp
too
would
fast for
really
a
bother
If she
me.
was that type, then I'd be down. Like
Yeah.
if she was just like, yeah, like we're all one, I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, we're all one.
Yeah.
That's sick. We're so all one.
I don't think weed could calm that woman down.
No.
No.
It
It'll
would
just ramp
send
it
her.
up.
Yeah, it would send her into
It'll ramp it up.
psychosis. Okay, the other one I would say is Katt Williams.
Again, I'm just high sitting back.
Yeah.
Give me the tea.
Give me the tea. Give
Yeah.
me all
Yeah.
the
It was
tea.
fucking everybody. Everybody was getting bent over. They were wearing the dresses.
Yeah.
I didn't wear the dress and they kicked me out of Hollywood.
We should just keep naming people and you
Just do an impression.
Yeah, that would be my dream. That
my
would be my
God.
dream.
Wait, so-
JoJo Siwa, Katt Williams, Azealia Banks. We've nixed Grimes.
Yeah, truly no one else could even come in that room
Yeah,
with those
no.
people
No.
because it's too much.
It's too
Anyone
much.
Katt
else
Williams
would
and
be-
JoJo Siwa alone. What is this little white girl talking about? You should stick to dancing.
Not even that. She's terrible at dancing. My mom and my dad, my mom, who is a professionally trained ballerina who danced on Broadway, they love So You Think You Can Dance, the show. Like, that's their, like,
Yeah.
network, like, guilty pleasure. And she's been on it and dancing, and it was so funny. They were like, there was an episode, the pilot, and they were like, and this season, JoJo Siwa will be joining us. And both my parents pause the TV and they go, oh, God! Like,
I could watch her dance for 100 years.
she's terrible.
I love
She's
watching
like
her.
lots
so
of, like,
bad.
She did one
Arm.
recently though that was quite a slay, and everybody was commenting, and they were like, "You need to be this again." It was like a little bit more like
She just doesn't have, her body is not pretty. It's like not, and not like in the aesthetic way. It's just like the way that she moves.
I think what it is almost like she forgets like the micro motions
she
almost.
doesn't,
Like she
like,
doesn't
have
follow
any-
through.
She
Yeah.
jumps into the next one really
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
I
She
think.
doesn't have
She's
like the
very,
follow
eager.
through to the end of the like limb. I'm not
Yeah.
even a dancer, but I think
It's
like
ex-
follow
yeah,
through is
right,
important.
you're right.
I
Yeah.
was.
And she misses steps, and then it
Yeah.
comes together, and that's like the messiness
chaotic.
of it. But she did one recently where it was like kind of a slay. I don't know. I stand. I
know you
JoJo
stand.
Siwa.
JoJo
JoJo
Siwa.
Siwa. I love her.
So funny.
Come on our podcast, JoJo. Don't be shy.
Yeah,
shy.
I'll cut out the part where I said you're
But
a
Gabby
shitty
first,
dancer.
please. Gabby.
Okay,
Bumper.
so next we're gonna talk about, before we move into the advice questions, Zach Bryan and Brianna Chicken Fry. So if anybody hasn't caught up on this, country star Zach Bryan and podcaster, barstool influencer Brianna LaPaglia, also known as Brianna Chicken Fry, have been in a relationship for over a year and recently broke up. She recorded a podcast with her co-hosts on the BFF podcast with Dave Portnoy and Josh Richards, where she details the breakup, the relationship, and makes some really tells some really her side of the story, and I hate to even say allegations because that's unfair, but really disturbing allegations against him and his behavior over the course of the last year. And this is something that Izzy and I had been talking about off air a lot.
We were a little at odds about her because before they broke up, I got into some Reddit hole via TikTok. You know when you just see a TikTok and it's late at night and they're like, check this Reddit. Like someone has the tea on some like niche celebrity drama. So I get into this hole and it's basically accusing Brianna of single white femaling Zach Bryan's most recent ex.
Yes, I remember you mentioning
I
this.
mentioned it, and I kind of wanted to come for her for that. But now, I mean, I kind of saw what was going on during it, and that's why I never mentioned it.
He was probably responsible for that.
Yeah,
it sounds like he was controlling
exactly.
her
She also
style.
lost sight of who she was. I think she even said that. I didn't listen, but
it was. Yeah, no. I mean, she talks about how he was controlling of what she wore,
and he probably
what she
compared her to his
posted.
ex, like brought her up, like was still. He seems like truly the most demonic person you could date. He's the worst type.
I feel like every girl or most women go through a relationship like this. Like I definitely have, where I have been in a relationship with a man who controlled the shit out of me, made me feel like I was everything about me was wrong, that I was the problem, love bombed me at the, in the first 4 months, and then it quickly declined after that, and you keep hoping that person is going to come back, and they never do because that person didn't exist.
No, it was a facade.
It was a facade. And it was so
I'm having a Nom flashback.
Yeah, exactly. Like I watched the podcast and her talk about how, he isolated her from her friends. He isolated her from her family. Everything that she was doing was wrong. And for somebody who, what I really liked about her and why you and I were kind of at odds about her was that what Brianna Chickenfry has done with her platform is something that I find really impressive, which is that she has been honest and upfront about who she is without it being, bitch, this is me. It's like, no, I came from nothing. I now have money. I actually want to get plastic surgery. This is something I've always wanted. I don't think you should be like me or want to aspire to me for that. These are just the things that I've wanted to change, and now I have the money to do so. So I'm going to be upfront about it.
She's like a working class family New England girl.
Yeah,
like
New England Boston girl, loved to
I've
party.
always respected that her come up has been cool, and like it's not really for me necessarily. Like her this is what got me more interested in it was like the Zach Bryan drama.
Yeah,
but I do like that she's like part of Barstool, and at least there's like a woman who's talking about stuff like this in relationships to the women who watch Barstool, because I feel like their boyfriends are all like Zach Bryan probably.
Yeah.
Well, it's also nice to see like her being supported by all her male friends. Like her male
totally.
friends coming out
Dave
in droves.
Portnoy.
Yeah.
Like
That
Dave
was
Portnoy
choice.
reading Zach Bryan.
those diss tracks were the funniest. Were some of the funniest things. I think what's so crazy, and I've seen actually a lot of other influencers come out and talk about this, was that like $12 million NDA that he asked her to sign.
I can't believe he has $12 million.
It's definitely
really
from the label.
That's really impressive that she turned that down.
I agree.
Because as they were saying, that's life-changing money, and by turning that down, it's taking a bet on yourself and that you're going to recoup
100.
that in some capacity.
Go breathe.
And
write a fucking book.
Yeah.
Literally write a book.
And I saw Tana Mojo come out and say, too, she was like, first of all, she probably wouldn't have never even saw all that money. They would have put all these clauses and things in place.
Like you get $50 a year or something.
The taxes on it. Like there would have been, they would have done everything in their power to make sure that she never saw all that money. And even if she did, the amount of money he would have made from the breakup songs and the touring and all the publicity from this is so vastly, exponentially more than $12 million that's pennies on the dollar for what it was.
It's true. Really?
And so for her, because of like,
Absolutely.
because I mean, think about it. He's selling out Gillette Stadium, like those tickets,
endorsements, and all that kind of stuff.
And the PR and press from this breakup, it's obviously not hurting him.
He's one of those people that like a year and a half ago, I didn't know who he was.
I know of him because of her.
Oh, really?
I started listening to his music because of her.
Interesting. I found his music. I found the Casey Musgraves song first, and that's still like, I love that song. I still listen to it because of her. And then, do you know what I found out? His newer song, Pink Skies, which is like about like a grandparent dying or something. And I listened to it a lot when my grandpa died a few weeks ago. I found out that he wrote it about Grace's grandma dying.
Psychotic.
So now I don't feel bad listening to his music because I'm like, this isn't even a story that's his. Like,
Yeah.
I
don't think
that he stole
he was really awful to Grace.
I know.
He was really awful to Grace.
Read up.
So
I kept confusing him with Luke Bryan.
fair.
Dude, Luke Bryan, Zach Brown band, like what? He has the most.
I feel like that stopped you from saying a slur.
He did.
That was God's intervention.
I'll just shut up.
Okay, let's go. We're going to go over to some advice questions. Y'all slept on us submitting advice questions this week. I don't know what happened, but where are y'all? Where are all my shrimp girls? Where are all my shrimp girls trying to commit non-law-breaking, non-violent things? Please submit. tinyurl.com/night school advice.
Submit.
Okay. How do you balance needing downtime and a desire to chill with self-discipline? Feels like it's been the hardest lesson of my late 20s. I just want to smoke weed and watch Bravo, but I also want to be successful. How do I balance?
Like creatively? What does she mean?
How do you balance needing downtime and a desire to chill with self-discipline? I think it comes down to if you love what you do, it's a little bit easier. If you don't, then I think it's about time management and knowing that the more that you put into the work, the more you're actually going to enjoy that downtime because you're not going to have in the back of your head all the shit that you needed to be doing. And so this is something that gets easier as you go through your 20s. I think when I was in my early 20s, I really struggled with this. And then as I've gotten older, I've been able to be like, okay, I know I'm going to have to dedicate X amount of time to do these things. I'm a list person. Lists really help me. So it's like I make a list of like all the things I need to do. And sometimes there's shit that like doesn't need to be done today, but I add it on there just to be like, to try and like do more than I probably will. And by kind of over promising, I'm able to get more done in that day. And then I see what I have left. I'm like, all right, I've done enough for today. I'm going to put the rest of this on the back burner and I'll pick it up tomorrow. And then that way I feel like I did as much as I could and I'm not beating myself up for not achieving every single thing I needed to do that day. And I can relax during my downtime. So I think it comes down to just like balancing and time management and knowing that that time after is more relaxed when you do it.
Might I submit?
Here we go.
An indirect approach. You're having a hard time focusing. Okay. So you're having, or like leisure is difficult to resist. The leisure element is difficult to resist. You know, chances are you sit down to try to get something done. The phone beckons. Next thing you know, you're on TikTok, you're scrolling. So this is my idea. Okay. You get one of those phone cages, you know, the ones that, that put your phone in a cage with a timer and you set it to a certain timer, right?
I did not know about these.
But you don't put your phone in it. Stay with me, okay? You rig it from the ceiling with the lid part facing down. You put a pair of shoes inside, a pair of slippers. And it has the lid side facing down, so when the timer goes off, it will release the shoes. You sit down at your desk, and you surround your desk, the area around your desk, with mouse traps. And you put your phone on the other side of the room. So you're barefoot, and you sit at the desk, and if you try to get up and go for your phone, you will have to walk over this field of mousetraps that will likely detonate and slam on your toes.
Jesus Christ.
Kill you.
It could also be thumbtacks. Anything sharp, anything that would prevent you from being able to walk on the floor comfortably in your bare feet. You have the timer on the phone cage set to, 3 hours. 3 hours of uninterrupted work. You can have a little piss cup, because that's an issue. I thought of that already. Don't worry. Have a piss cup, piss jug, whatever you need. You sit there at the computer. You have nothing else to do but now to work, whatever that work is, your homework, your schoolwork, whatever, your life work, creative work. But now you're bound to the seat and you can't go anywhere until the timer goes off and releases the slippers from the ceiling that descend onto the desk, and then you may get up and retrieve your phone. The other idea I had is you could do the same thing rigging a paintball gun across the room.
I like that one.
Where it's tied to your leg, and if you stand up from the desk or really move too quickly at all, the paintball gun will shoot you in the head.
So self-harm. Like forms
threaten
of
yourself with
self-mutilation. Like when
That
I
would
played
work on me.
The mousetrap one would
The
actually really work
mousetrap
on
one
me.
would. I'm so scared
Yeah.
of stepping on a mousetrap. Irrational
Yeah.
fear. Like I don't have mice, but I'm
Yeah.
always scared. There's like a mousetrap somewhere that I'm gonna.
Yeah. No, you would just absolutely litter the ground with mouse
But
traps.
even if you put the slippers on and you walked over the mousetrap, like it could still.
No, but now with the slippers on also, like, you know, these ability to sort of kick them away.
I see.
But in your
Okay,
bare
yes.
toes, you're not going to want to risk that, you
Yeah.
know? And maybe, you know, maybe you put some more formidable, like, hardy shoes in this. Maybe you put your hiking boots up there.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
cage.
Yeah, in the cage. But it's important that the cage is facing down so that when it releases, the lid will just, like, pop off, you know?
Oh, I can envision it.
Yeah. And then the shoe, but then you have to be careful, you know, if you put some really clunky hiking shoes in there, just make sure that
doesn't fall
they don't
directly
fall
on your
directly onto your head.
And then
'Cause
knocks you out.
Knocks you out, and the mouse traps like start like attacking you. Yeah. So there's two options.
I
You know,
think
you
this
can-
is. I think this is a service you should employ where you rig people's desks.
yeah.
To as a way as a
Get
as a
shit done.
procrast- Yeah.
Alana will
Yeah.
help you get shit done.
Yes. Like a rage room, but a concentration room. So it's like
Yes.
it's full of dangerous things. There's broken glass everywhere.
There's a shark.
There's a shark. You're surrounded
Cross
by
a plank.
sharks and broken glass and fire.
You can throw a
and
Savannah
you're
cat
like
in there.
lava.
and it's so intense and like horrific, and you're like, okay, page 1 of my screenplay.
I could not work like that. There's no
need it.
way. There's no
I kind of need it. That's kind of how
I didn't ask that question, but sounds like me, honestly. I have no
Yeah.
advice for you. I'm in the same boat.
yeah,
I want to watch Bravo and smoke weed.
yeah. I have to give my phone to my boyfriend if to
Really?
Yeah,
It's
Smart.
the problem is productivity is how is so tied to like my self-worth in such a Virgo
Same.
in such a Virgo way that I'm like when I had after I called you the other night and I was so upset, I was like, time to go home and edit and make things, like, because then I will feel I am okay.
No,
if
I'm the
I've
same
made
way.
things.
I'm the exact same way. And this is a recent development. I wasn't always like this, but in the last year, I think realizing my purpose and like writing and everything, now like, oh my God, when I'm hungover, you should see me. I punish myself. I'm like self-flagellating with like productivity.
Yeah.
Either create it. It's like always like I wake up, I feel like shit, and it's like you're either gonna write an essay today or you're gonna clean the house top to bottom. Like it's like I have to do something as punishment for the leisure.
Yeah, mine is I punish myself for feeling. I wish I like you feel things. It's time to what are you doing?
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's so crazy. It's psychotic.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it's
feeling.
No, it's deeply psychotic and
crazy.
deeply fucked up. And in the opposite too, like I'm hungover the next day and I'm like, I'm just gonna order DoorDash and I'm gonna eat ramen in my bed because like I
Oh
need
my
to
God.
heal.
We
Like,
couldn't be more. And then for me, I'm like crying at my desk, like writing an essay, and I'm like, it's so beautiful to feel, but I have to get this done because I have a headache. You piece of shit, you alcoholic.
that's so
Yeah.
funny. Okay,
I love that.
I'm
speaking.
like,
yeah, go
fine
ahead.
with not being productive. Like I
Slay.
don't know. I've changed a little in the last year.
Slay.
I will say,
nice.
like recently, I've been way more hard on myself if I don't get things done. But in general, that's never been a problem for me. It's almost like doing things is punishment. Living, just in.
I feel
mean,
that.
I'm like a fish. I just like swim around.
Pisces.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you
Just
are.
a little fish swimming around.
Just a little fish. Keep on swimming.
Do you see my fish?
See, I'm the water bearer. I must bear these jugs of water and carry them up a hill every day, like Sisyphus.
Yes.
That is how I am.
You are very Sisyphus.
I am.
You are Sisyphus coded.
We must imagine Alana happy.
Happy. Make her rock very small. Make the rock very tiny.
Speaking of Alana happy, Frank, you posted this on your closed story where you like posted someone saying something positive about your book.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is good, right? And Frank just looks at you and goes, this is going to be a long week.
That was hilarious.
I literally, because in my head, I saw him say it, and I was like,
He goes, oh boy, it's going to be a long week. Yeah.
well,
okay, that's
I think
what we're here for.
I think that also goes to our last and final question to end this on a high note. When was the last time you cried and why?
Before I walked in here. Too many reasons to count.
Yeah. I cried last night for the first time in actual weeks. I'm writing my grandpa's obituary, and my dad sent me something he wrote before. I guess he thought like that might be towards the end. So he wrote like kind of a summary of his life, and he talks about God. I also found out he literally worked in espionage for the U.S., like worked for the Department of Defense at the, like I knew he worked at the Pentagon, but I was like Googling what like the group he was part of was, and I was like, oh, he's like high level.
Oh, yeah.
Like
He had clearance.
He had very high clearance. I read his thing, and towards the end, he gets into talking about, I'm going to cry if I talk about it, how he feels about like God and religion and his time here on earth. And it was just like, I just broke down. I like started like ugly crying, and I haven't done that in so long. And it was just a mixture of everything that's happened in the last couple weeks. Like,
I cry a lot, actually. I feel like that would surprise most people.
That does surprise me.
Yeah, I actually cry a lot, but I always do it alone. Crying in front of other people is really hard. It's a big sign of trust when I'm able to cry in front of you. Like,
you've
even
cried in front of me.
Yeah, I've cried in front of, over the phone with Alana. Yeah, I think the last time I cried was on the phone with Alana last week. But it was honestly so cathartic. And after I was like, okay, we're good. Like,
yeah, you got it out.
I got it out.
It's sometimes you need to cry to get to the next step emotionally.
Yeah.
With something.
Because I'm so good at like packing it in. Like, it's a lot more than I think people think, but it's like it comes in waves. Like, it'll be a week of just crying, and then I won't cry for like 4 or 5 months, and then it'll be like a week or whatever. But yeah, it's like, it's very cathartic. And I love my parents, but like living at home is like so tough because they're both like so energetically like tapped in. Like, my dad's like, when you walk in the house, you don't even have to say anything, and I know if you're upset or not. And so I'm like, and that's hard for me because like sometimes I don't want to talk through with them stuff. And it's not because they aren't supportive. It's just because like,
you want to process alone.
I want to process alone or with my friends.
Just avoid it for a sec and just not process.
I feel like I need to process, but it's like I don't necessarily want to process with them just because I feel like they're like thinking about things like much longer term of things. And
parents always do.
Yeah.
They just see things.
And I'm like, I know that, but like it doesn't change the feelings now. And like, I love you guys, but like leave me alone in my room for a little bit and don't come in. Like, I am truly the nightmare daughter, the 28-year-old daughter, living podcaster, living at home. The only thing that makes it worse is that I do stand-up comedy. Like, I am truly, I'm
crazy.
The nightmare daughter. And I brought my dog
You're the nightmare
there.
son, actually.
I'm the nightmare son. You're exactly right. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We will see you next time. Please, again, like, comment, subscribe. Also, guys, we have 150 subscribers on Spotify. Can you guys like comment or like, we don't even know 150 people. So like, we would love to get to know you guys.
Yeah, who are you?
Like, please like write to us, reach out to us. We would love to know you and meet you and talk to you.
300 something people.
Yeah, that's like 300 people. Like,
that's a small army.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm reading The Art of War right now. So I'm very like.
You're tapped in.
I'm tapped in. I'm
that.
like, let's recruit them.
Yeah.
I love that. Little minions.
So please reach out to us, like, comment, subscribe, how you felt about the episode, what things you'd like to see. We'd love to incorporate additional segments. So please let us know. You can also DM us on Instagram. We're so excited to keep pumping stuff out for you, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.